Hey guys, I want to know, does this look like me? Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sketch Soup. I really appreciate anyone who tuned in the last episode and stuck around to watch me draw and rant a little bit. So in today's episode, I will be drawing a character from imagination, and while I am doing that, I will be talking a little bit about myself just to get a little proper introduction. To start off, for those who don't know me, my name is Michael Gyung, and I am based out of the city of Breaking Bad. So if you don't know where that is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and yes, that is in the United States. So going back in time to the young age of 8, that was when I first started drawing, and probably the earliest memories that I have of drawing was in 3rd grade. I drew a lot of characters from Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Tenchi Muyo, that kind of thing. My most vivid memory from 8 years old was in my 3rd grade class, and I had a friend named Leonard, and we had both played the video game Final Fantasy VII, and one day he brought in a strategy guide from the video game, and he let me skim through it, and as I saw the character pages showing the profiles, I immediately was drawn to the character art. So my next instinct was, of course, to start copying the drawings, and although the drawings weren't perfect, my friends were impressed. So the next thing that I did was I would cut out the drawings from the paper, and I would then tape it onto my desk in my classroom. And then my teacher, Miss Holmes, saw the drawings and she was also impressed. So normally we wouldn't be able to accessorize or dress up our desks where we sat in the classroom. But from there, I think my teacher realized that this was a good platform maybe to express ourselves. So going forward, she would let the rest of the students put things on our desk and dress them up or do whatever we want with them. And by the end of the year, I would have a collection of drawings just taped all over my desk. And at some point, I remember the drawings would eventually start to overlap and spill over into my friend's desk next to me. So because of that, I would have to swap out drawings for new ones anytime I would come up with something new or copied another drawing or illustration that I would see from, magazines or little strategy guides for video games. So that was probably what got me started in drawing. And fast forward later that year in 1998 to Christmas time, I received a gift from one of my uncles, and it was a PlayStation game, and the video game was Metal Gear Solid. And of course the gift was meant for both my brother and I, so I had my brother play the game first, and while he did that, I was skimming through the instruction manual of the video game, and when I stumbled upon the art, I was just completely floored, maybe even more impressed by the artwork in here than what I saw in the Final Fantasy VII strategy guide. And I didn't know the artist then, but later on in middle school, I then researched who the artist was, and I found out that it was Yoji Shinkawa. From that moment, I knew that I wanted to do something creative when I got older, but I didn't know whether you can make a living from doing art. And fast forward to high school, I never really followed or my passion in drawing. I kind of, let it go. And in fact, going back to 8th grade, my last year in middle school, I never really took an art class in middle school. Then come high school, I finally took an art class. There was a general visual arts practice, but I remember my teacher, who was Mrs. Cohen, and she sort of shunned upon creative work or anything having to do with illustration or character design, and she would, force her students to follow the curriculum, which I understand because, it's school and the teachers have to create a syllabus that revolves around the expectations of what the education system allows. And as you know, high school is a time where you get your bearings and, finally grasp an idea of who you are and plan for the future of what you want to do after high school, whether that's going to college or doing whatever else, like working. But for me, it was expected, to go to university or college and get a good degree that will secure you a job. And honestly, I really didn't know what I wanted to study. Anyway, that's quite a bit for this episode, so I don't want to bore you all too much, but I will continue the story in the next episode. Alright, well, here's the finished drawing, or sketch, I should say. And I want to thank you all again for tuning in for this episode. And as promised, I will be back with the part 2 of this episode's topic. Until then, please follow me on Instagram or subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.